Hey guys, it's Gavin. I wanted to give you guys a deck profile. This is my Fire Porco list that I took to the first place finish at the Let's Talk UVS and Tamron Cardwell webcam event, the farewell event. Ended up doing super good. My one loss in Swiss was to a Jean Kirsten, but everything else was pretty much a shred. A few 2-1s, but all of Top Cut was 2-0. Super aggressive deck. I just wanted to go over some of my card choices and stuff like that, the little nuance of the deck. Um, there's going to be a few cards that I've cut since the webcam event. You guys can go on UVS Ultra to find that deck list, but the deck list that I'm going to link in the comments is going to be the current list. It's only a 4 card change, but just 4 cards that I took out from the webcam event, and I just didn't want to like give you guys an outdated list. Kind of give you what my thoughts are for the deck currently, what I learned from the event, especially. So, first off, attack lineup is pretty simple. A lot of 4-ups for the most part. Mighty Blitz. The big reason to like stay on fire is this card because generally like death is the better symbol, but you don't get that the Mighty Blitz on fire. This is going to put anything from your discard pile into your card pool. If you have a high, it gets 3 more damage, and if you have a low, I only have 1 low in the deck. But if you do, your rival has to spend 2 momentum, and this thing's just got powerful 4, and our character is going to give it +1/+1. Just one of the best openers in the game. For this deck, you're going to either need 4 attacks or some amount of this card and this card to be able to combo, where you like actually start transforming and adding cards from your card pool to your hand. So these, John Titans, if you have any in the discard, will count as 2 attacks or more, and Mighty Blitz pretty much always counts as 2 attacks for the purposes of transforming. Speaking of, 4 Jaw Titan's Bite, hard to play any less than 4 because this card references itself. It just gives you, it's like basically half as good Titan Armbar without the stun 2 and without the ridiculous difficulty. So nothing changing about that ever, really. Teaming, big star of the show. This is the card that really, really pushes the deck up to like meta. I think otherwise it's a pretty solid deck, but this is the thing that can just like destroy people even if they're set up to defend against you. This is the one that you're like almost tapped out, but you can just check 5s and still kill them with this card. Super huge for the deck. For Besiege, at some point in the past, I was playing Frenzied Dash, but with Filled with Doubt running around in the format, and they like seal your Jaw Titan's Bite or your Mighty Blitz pretty often. Frenzied Dash will then get 1 less 1/1. So Besiege, especially with the Deadlock and the 1 mid block on it, I just think it's the better card. We really want like a low difficulty card to play as like our 3rd or 4th attack that we don't have to commit a ton of cards. Like we play a 4 on as our 3rd attack and check a 3 and feel really bad. It's much better to play a 3, especially when Besiege really is worth it, I think. We've got 2 Titan Armbar and 2 Blue Flame Torment for our last spots here. Shout out to my teammate Andrew Marquez. The night before the event, I was asking like any final thoughts to the rest of my team, just like anything that I should add, and he was just like, I don't know where you can fit it in, but Blue Flame Torment is really crazy, and I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right, and I really wanted like a card that wasn't as high difficulty as Armbar, because if you're playing the 4 Armbar, you're kind of signing yourself up for the fact that like you're going to have to pretty often just play this on a 7 and then maybe even occasionally play 2 in the same hand, and I don't really want to ever do that. So I think Blue Flame, especially like being the only low in the attack lineup, setting up the Mighty Blitz, spin 2 momentum, being a nice block trick, being like essentially either stun 2 or just like, they also work off of each other really well. You could play your Torment, and then if they fail both checks, you're like, well, I'll play this on a 5+1 is 6, and then late game, if you've got momentum up and just being like, okay, I'm going to make your runaway fail, or I'm going to give something +2 speed, or the defensive trick where you block with it and give them selective breaker 2. Really, really crazy card. And then, of course, the arm bars. Just adding this in off of Mighty Blitz and saying for the rest of the turn, +2 damage to everything is pretty insane. You can also, just when you get to the 4 attacks in card pool, add this from your card pool to your hand, put it back in, and then refresh the status of like +2 damage. Comes up a lot because if you do have double teaming and you didn't have to like Mighty Blitz put one in, then there's going to be a moment where you're not adding a teaming from your card pool. So you just add this to your hand and then put it back in and just go on your way. I was playing 6 actions. There's a world where you play the 4th barrier shield. I was playing it, and then there was times where I was like, man, I really want the 4th barrier shield, but there was probably also going to be times where I didn't build as consistently because I had so many actions. So there's something to consider there. Seething Anger, you can at least like play your high difficulty ones, play it as a 0, and then maybe try to fit in a 1 diff or a 0 diff after that. And it's just this like beautiful 1 mid block. Super crazy card to play around like Kaya's Compassion and Breaker in general, just being like, well, I can't. I've got Breaker 3. I'm going to play this on a 3 or something like that. Much better than playing a attack and falling into that Breaker and stuff like that. And then Barrier Shield again. These are both combo pieces, by the way, if you didn't know. This one doesn't count towards progressive difficulty. This one doesn't count towards progressive difficulty to play attacks. So when you have the 4 attacks with Porco, you can add one from your card pool to your hand and then stuff one of these into the card pool and essentially lower your progressive by 1. Onto the foundations. 4X Marley's Warriors, and we are not playing a 3 diff. I've cut the airship since the event just to not play any 3 diffs at all because military airship really did not seem to be worth it. And I think if you start playing with the deck, you'll see what I mean. I would have airship on my board and be like, well, I don't really want to use this, to be honest. Whereas, like, I want to build my 2 diffs, like, really badly, especially Marley's Warrior. I want to build double Marley's Warriors in case one of them gets interrupted or something like that, like chomped or dragon striked or something like that. I want to always be able to do that. I was seeing so many deck lists on for this deck that only had 2 copies of it, and I tried to justify it as best as I could, but I ran 4, and I would probably run 8 in the future if I could. So I don't really know what to say about that one. Marley's Warriors is just like the best card in the deck, to be honest. Moving on, Dark Ward. I think this is like one of those cards that comes in whenever the deck is really refined and it's not just a big synergy ball. We know that like a lot of the times we're going to lose to a good like Breaker 2 or Breaker 3, so why not just play the card? This is my pass-through walls, basically, the card that cancels the thing that stops me from killing you. But also defensively, it can cancel echoes like Rejuve Smash, like plenty of responses. So I felt like it was good to at least be in the 4 of in the main deck. Oh, Showdown, huge one again. But yeah, put it 4 of in the main deck. You could definitely, especially at locals, put it down to a 2 or a 3 of if you don't expect to face against a lot of Breaker. But there were times where I was like, I don't have this on my board. If my opponent plays a good Breaker 2 or Breaker 3 or like Showdown or something like that, I can't kill them, but this card just said that I could. Even like relatively weak stuff like Referee Jury making me commit cards, I just said no. Instead, I'll flip this card and continue to fight you. 4X Loss of Consciousness, probably. I mean, Marley's Warriors is great, but this might be the strongest foundation in my deck. Being able to mill 3 off of my character, or like Jaw Titan's Bite, Blitz, discard this to get rid of their best foundation. And then throughout the course of my turn, I'm going to mill more and more and more and get rid of even more foundations. And I mean, it's like an aggro deck having access to this is just so powerful. Love this card. Love this card. 3 copies of Latent Skill. Not a huge fan of this card, just because like helping with draw in this deck isn't really a big thing. Like you're only gonna want this card if you have 3 or less attacks in your hand. Like if you can't combo off, and you're just gonna pray that you turn 2 of your foundations into attacks. It does let you discard cards that trigger when they hit the discard, like the Loss of Consciousness. But you're already like only if you absolutely need to pray are you going to start attacking with only 3 attacks and just pray to draw the 4th attack with this card. And I would like to rather just like build. If I've got like 3 attacks and a barrier shield or something like that, I would much rather build 3, pass, sculpt, and kill them on the next turn rather than pray. But sometimes you gotta pray, like for real. So I guess it's good. I would love to cut this card. I'm thinking if there is a 3 diff slot, it would be like the Power of Love, kind of same idea as Dark Ward, where it's like a card that I like helps me kill my opponent and cancel their cancels and stuff like that. That might come in the future since they share the same block zone, but latent skill just not super crazy. 4, I'm with you. Just one of the best spams, being able to mill this for +2 or -2 damage. Since Porco can just mill 3 on every attack on your opponent's turn, super amazing card. 4, Lust for Battle. There were times where I was like, this is just the best card in my deck. -1 to their next check, so it's like +1 speed to my attacks. That carries over to the next one if they don't attempt to block this attack, as well as if they try to run away, maybe they check a 5 that's now actually a 4, they actually have to commit 1, or they check like a 2. Super crazy in this meta. And then like once you just get like super milling and like you can be like, okay, now your referee jury has -2 or -3 to its check or something like that. If they don't respect it by throwing away blocks, then it can really add up. But throwing away blocks is also really dangerous. So just like super crazy card. I'm going to be so sad when it rotates for sure. This is 4 copies of Capture the Target. This is one card that got changed from the list. I really wanted to test Unabashed Manner here. This card kind of just underperformed. I was like, I want to hit more stuff off of Porco, but into the end, it didn't really matter that much. I was like also kind of obsessed on that 2 low block, but it really didn't matter and probably should have just been Capture the Targets. If my game plan is to have 4 attacks in the card pool, I probably should have just included this, but I figured, it's only a 23 person event. I'm gonna I normally what I do is like I add in some sort of spice, like the like in Devil Gin when I added the Dobby card, the Quick Burn. I'm just like, okay, I'll try it out. That one worked out. It's not really Unabashed Manner did, so yeah. In the future, it's just gonna be the 4 Capture the Target. 4 copies of Frightening Calm. Unfortunately, the only 4 check that I want to play in the deck. Card is just so broken. It's just another form of like snack time and don't do this. Like my opponent not being able to block my stuff is super important. Yeah, what can I say? Having like 2 of this up on the board, so I think you definitely keep it as a 4 of. Like having 2 of it up on the board was just insane. Another change, I think this is where 1 Airship and 1 Forcing Surrender went away for just 1 Min Inferno. Almost lost to Byakko because I really had no way to interact with his game plan. Like I could have, if I had this on the board, that matchup is just solved. Like he stacks his jury and I just mill it. That kind of thing. Super good. Just really randomly. As far as a 0 and like the fact that I can mill stuff in my deck, probably just an oversight. I wanted to include this at least in the side deck, but I thought, whatever, I got to get my deck list submitted, so I'm just going to forgo these. But in the future, yeah, definitely going to include at least the 2 1 Min Infernos, as well as the 1 Ignite. I don't think this changes. This could probably be a 1 Min Inferno, but this is a good Besiege block as well. This card is just so bad when you try to turn 2 kill people, and like against mid-range decks, the best chance you have is to kill them on turn 2, because after they stabilize, it's not too far out for them to start killing you. Like they can kill you on turn 3 because you only have 24 health. So against those decks, you kind of need to, and you have the best time killing them on turn 2, whereas this card needs you to have cycled pretty much to be worth anything. That's the main deck, clean 60. Here's the side deck. 2 Resolute End. This is my action cancel. When my opponent pays health for Runaway, I'm going to use this and say, well, I'm going to still hit you because you chose not to block it, and it's going to be a lot of damage. Trying to think that if there's like another Boogeyman in the format that I really needed to cancel, but Runaway, like there was a time where I got Runaway 3 times and still killed through it, so maybe don't need these, but it kind of just feels good, especially, I mean, like, one of the only things that could go under you is just like if a 7 hand sized Rampage deck like Annie 2 got you on turn 2 and won the die roll. and this would definitely help with that. So could be huge. I had 3 devastating loss in the main deck. I'm pretty scared of Hanji 1, but that matchup is completely solved if I can just pop their 9 Titans when I go first and then just kill them on turn 2. That matchup is pretty solved, so I wanted to be able to solve that matchup. One Moment of Normalcy, honestly, is just a good card, so I just put it in my side deck. Sand Tiger, huge for stopping Breaker and fighting for control. You just have this in your card pool, and it says you're immune to those cards. Even though this is going to be like a 3 mid 6, I don't even remember what else it does. If it deals damage, we both get a momentum. Pretty good, actually, if I play like my Blue Flame Torment after it. But yeah, you just put it into the card pool, and no more fighting for control, no more Breaker. And then 3 copies of Heroes Upbringing, just because Ghidorah still exists in this format, and I want to stop Peak from killing me. They're going to use their asset twice, and I'm going to say that they can't, hopefully, can't kill me. But that's kind of optimistic. Usually the game plan against Peak is just to kill them first. But against Ghidorah, shaving off 20 health from them with an action is pretty strong. So yeah, I don't know if any of this changes either, but there's lots of good cards you could play. That's the list for my little man Porco. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Super fun deck, very aggro. I love that. I love being aggro. And he's pretty good at doing it on turn 2, which is the best time to do it. All right, peace out.